I'm the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome to the Gospel Truth channel. And we welcome you here. And we're going to talk about and we're going to answer some viewers' questions today. So I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood, harmless little fuzzball Christian whistleblower. And we're going to answer viewers' questions right now. And we're going to go through some of your questions. We're going to look at some of your questions. We're going to answer them. And some of them are just not really questions, they're just comments. And we're going to look at those and answer them. And welcome to all of you. Glad you're here. And let's talk about some of these questions. Let's look at some of these questions. Let's examine some of these questions. These are some of the things that people write to me and ask me. That's what a question is, after all. And just let me get over here to the live stream, and we will talk about talking about it. Let's see what we got going on. Come on now, work with me. There you go. There you go. So somebody says to me that the monkeys were a psyop they channeled through the new medium of television. I say no. I say no. So that's your first viewer's question. Were the monkeys a psyop that they channeled through the medium of television? I say nay. And again, I've met the monkeys, spent time with them, and I say no, they were not a psyop. They were some pretty cool guys. In fact, there was some inebriation involved when we met up with them and hung out with them. So no, they weren't a psyop in my opinion. They were not a psyop, in my humble opinion. So this first one comes from a person that had wrote me and said, listen, I'm getting attacked in my own home. I'm getting bruises, marks, cuts. And they write back and say, Jeffrey, it's been almost 2 weeks. I haven't had any bruises, burns, or cuts. So I am thinking the missing link was using my lease contract. Thanks for the info. Basically, what I suggested they do is walk around, because they were in a condo. I suggested that, and they weren't owning it, they had a lease, that they walk around the perimeter of their quarters and say, hey, I have legal right to this place and you have to leave. And they were suffering greatly from these entities. But after they did that, by their own admission, they went away. So that's something I do a lot of, paranormal work, entity cleansing, spiritual counseling for entities. So if you need that, let me know, donation basis. Rooney is in the building. It's getting close to meaty time. So notice when I say the word meaty, I have his undivided attention. He usually gets those at 6. So, we're supposed to do a show at 6, so we got to rush right through these. This is something else I got from an Islamic scholar. This is an Islamic scholar. And this scholar says that Paul was a terrorist in the ISIS mold. His modern followers would be quick, he was afraid, to follow his lead if they believed it would suit their needs. He has a terrible suspicion that one day some deluded extremist follower of Paul may find a way to commit an atrocity at the temple site in an effort to do away with the current beautiful mosque so that this imagined new temple can be constructed. What a sad day that would be for peace-loving people of all faiths. I join you in hopes that we will never see this come to pass. Peace to you with my warmest thoughts. Dr. Hamid. Very interesting person. I'm a progressive Muslim who believes in science and scientific facts. I have hot discussions with fanatics and worshipers of words and sacred texts. Some Muslims consider me a heretic and suspect that I'm not a Muslim. Paul, let us assume that Baghdadi of ISIS publicly denounces terrorism. It's just a very interesting, long discussion and just a great thing. So even some folks from the Muslim world have said nice things to me. This person says, do you think committing suicide is a bad thing? What impact would it have on the afterlife? Well, we heard Robert Stanley Unicus last night saying that if you commit suicide, it's a one-way ticket back into the matrix. I happen to believe that. You do come back again, and then you have some karmic debt along with you. So I don't recommend it. I do not recommend it at all. Another question is, spirit guides, any chance you could tell us something about them and how they work? The best thing I can tell you about spirit guides is don't work with them. I think we should guide our own spirit, master our own ascension, be our own gurus. I would not use spirit guides at all, ever, for any reason, period. I have at times elicited help from allies for specific instances, but I would not use spirit guides. That is my answer to that question. There's plastic Jesus, there's the Christ, the Word. So who is the biblical Jesus? Because that's kind of a mixture of both people, or am I missing something? Yes. I just wrote a book called Jesus and the Christ. So basically the Christ was the Elohim, the Word that manifested in this realm. Jesus is fake, never existed, wasn't real. Jesus was created by religion to replace the Christ and suppress the teachings and memory of the real Christ. Get the book. It's $1.99. You got $1.99. This one I especially like. My daughter's 13 years old. This person writes. The daughter's 13 years old. Spends weekends with her grandparents who are trying to indoctrinate her into the Baptist theology. She's not having any part of it. She's watched several of your videos. Anyway, she's been on the phone with a Christian boy for 30 minutes explaining why she's not buying what he's selling. We're making some headway, poor boy. That is great stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is some really good stuff right there. What's this one? Have you read the Talmud of Jemanuel? I have. I'm not sold on it. I am not sold on it. I got to be honest with you. Are there any others I can listen to like you? R. Wayne Steiger, Heidi Vandenberg, Leak Project. That's about as far as I can go right now, in my opinion. That one's too personal. What are your thoughts on the Elohim, and why did they not intervene when the Lord started to deceive Adam and Eve? We talked about that already. It's a test. It's a training ground, and they are wanting us to stand up. And watch this, Medes. Oh wow, he must be really asleep. And they're wanting us to take action and not wait for them to take action. Seeing if there's a question here. I think that's just niceness. Thank you. I appreciate that. Every now and then it's nice to be nice. Okay. All right. This person questions the whole Enoch agenda. I do as well. Enoch, I think, was forged. No spiritual beings have sex with humans. I see that as fear intervention. I think the book of Enoch is, I'm reading my own answer. No wonder it sounded so good to me. Okay, soul farming is an entrapment of the soul on earth. I thought that was reincarnation and an evaluation of the soul. Well, it's the same thing. Soul farming is reincarnation, I think. So if Enoch was taken to heaven, I don't think he was. I think that's dung. This person says he was made Metatron and put in charge of the Akashic records. Maybe if that's what they teach, maybe that's why the Akashic records have never resonated with me, because I don't think Enoch went to heaven. I don't think he was Metatron. The Watchers were chastised for taking wives and teaching them things and reading so forth. The Watchers is a lie, Stevie. They never took wives. No spiritual being has ever had sex with a human, period. How do you get out of soul farming? By going within. Watch the show we did last night on with Robert Stanley, aka Unicus. That'll give you some real good direction. And last but certainly not least, an Inky and Enlil discussion. Thank you for that. I appreciate the input. A disfellowship Jehovah's Witness. He gets guts intuition. I appreciate your teaching. Thank you. From a disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness. That's awesome. All righty then. And I think we had a couple questions in the chat room itself. What is my thought on Asatru? I like Asatru. I really do. As far as I know, it's a return to ancestral religions. So I think that if you're a person that is from a region that was worshiping gods like Thor, Odin, and Freya, I think it can be especially powerful for you to rediscover your roots. Or sometimes I think that there are people that aren't from those areas that still resonate with them. So maybe it's something from past lives or whatever. But if you resonate with the Norse gods, or if you're from that area, I would actually embrace them, find out about them. I don't know if I'd worship them, but I would return to my roots if I were you. How do you think Adam and Eve were tricked into the meat suits? Well, I think it was pretty simple. They were being trained by the Elohim. They were spiritual beings. They had not yet been, their training had not been yet completed, so they didn't yet know how to get into physical bodies. They were anxious, they were impatient, and the rat bastard said, I'll give you these bodies because the Elohim aren't going to give them to you. They're just tricking you, and see how long they're taking. So what they did was bought what he was selling, went into those bodies, found out they were trapped and can't get out, but now I can teach you how to get out. You're welcome, Trey. It's my pleasure to share viewers' questions and comments. I agree with you. They are interesting, and I do read everything you send me. I do try to respond to every one of them. Sometimes it's not with the length that people want me to respond, but we went over that yesterday. Why would they need to learn about physical bodies when it's a lower vibrational form? Because it's for some reason, the Elohim think it's important for themselves, for Elohim to be able to every now and then take on bodily form. Why did the Christ, which was the word Elohim, take on bodily form? Why did Sophia take on bodily form? I don't presume to try to figure out why the Elohim think it's important. If they think it's important, I'm probably going to say, okay, I'll study that. So I think that's what they did. Hello there. Nice to see you. So for whatever reason, they were teaching them that. It was just part of the Elohim thing. And it could very well have been that the rat bastard was selling them on the idea of sex. Ooh, there's this sex thing. You really ought to try it. I got 2 bodies over here right now, ready for you to go. Hubba, hubba, ding, ding. Chicky, chicka, bow, now. It could have very well been that. I'm not saying that it was, but I'm saying that it's a very likely possibility that it could have been related with the, and it's like Robert Stanley said yesterday, that there's, this is a new experience, and some souls have decided that they wanted to undergo it. So I think I'm not saying it was sex. I think it could have been sex, or they just wanted to do it. Have you heard the story on Monday from European Observation Agency regarding collision on neutron stars in a space-time ripple. No, I haven't heard that. Adam's first wife was named Lilith. That's right. I wonder if Eve ever even existed. That's what I'm working on, Matt, is overthrowing the rat bastard and who to work with. Stay tuned. I think it does affect us, Davey. I think there really is some actual stuff that's taking place. So we're going to be back at 6 o'clock for another show, I'm pretty sure. But I wanted to go through and answer these questions for you. No original sin, spark a divinity within, so you can master your own spirit, master your own ascension, guide your own spirit, and be your own guru. Unindoctrinate yourself. And a good way to start is by asking the question, is the world crazy or am I? I'm here to help you figure that out and help you decide what to do after. I lead you to water, can't make you drink, lead you to objective truth, can't make you think. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. Please stay fearless, my friends.